Government still in talks with Nigeria ahead of midnight deadline to cut gas supply to Ghana.
Petroleum Ministry takes steps to regulate activities transparently.
And Benin's former president Matthew Kirikou dies at 82. Just gone by the headlines. Good evening. Welcome to the studios of GBC24 and GTV. This is when we update you on events around our world. I'm Akushika Akwe.
And I'm Conrad Kakraba, and Robert Frimpong-Manso is doing the sign language translation.
The Ghana Integrity Initiative, with support from USAID, has launched two initiatives, namely I Paid a Bribe Internet Reporting Platform and its Advocacy Legal Advice Center in Accra. The GII consortium is made up of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Social Enterprises Foundation, and the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition.
The launch of the first and the relaunch of the latter is to renew and build on efforts to increase the capacities of anti-corruption civil society organizations. They will in turn motivate citizens to apply pressure on policymakers and institutions to take action to reduce corruption in Ghana.
The Advocacy and Legal Advice Center was established by the Ghana Integrity Initiative, GII, the local chapter of Transparency International, as an avenue to address concerns of the public about the need for strategic action to address corruption which is perceived to be rife in the country. It is to encourage Ghanaians to report corruption and to inform them about where and how to go about reporting corrupt acts. But due to financial difficulties, ALAC became inactive since 2013, hence the need for its relaunch. At the Accra launch of I Paid a Bribe Internet Platform and Advocacy and Legal Advice Center, ALAC, the Executive Director of Ghana Integrity Initiatives, Mr. Vitus Azim, said these will serve as corruption reporting tools and avenues under the Accountable Democratic Institutions and Systems Strengthening Project.
GI therefore created the ALAC in Ghana to provide Ghanaians who either become victims or witnesses of corrupt practices the opportunity to seek redress by providing them with the legal assistance and guidance to seek such redress. It has undertaken advocacy for broader structural and institutional reforms with a view to minimizing corruption in the country.
The platform is a simple and easy-to-use ICT tool which is accessible on phones and computers to report corruption at the click of a button, works as an anonymous reporting tool hosted on the GII website and available on Send Ghana and Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition through a link. There was a demonstration on how the website works.
The Petroleum Ministry is putting together a gas policy and gas act to regulate activities in the industry transparently. This is expected to come on stream when the gas master plan, yet to be presented to Cabinet, is approved. Petroleum Minister Mr. Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa made this known when his ministry took its turn at the Meet the Press series in Accra on Thursday.
The story in the news about gas from Nigeria. We are looking forward to the day where gas from Nigeria will be complementary. And that gas that will mainly power our thermal plants will come from indigenous gas.
Petroleum Minister Mr. Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa says Ghana is in the process of building a formidable oil sector while putting measures in place for thermal energy to become the country's source of power in the near future.
A third FPSO for Ghana is currently under construction for this project following the approval of the Plan of Development, POD. One oil field does not create an industry, as is often said. We therefore remain unrelenting in our quest to grow reserves so as to ramp up and sustain oil and gas production.
With regards to the possible discovery of oil in the Volta Basin, the ministry has given the green light for work to start, and this includes the acquisition of a 200-kilometer 2D seismic data and drilling of 2 wells.
What we are doing now is what you can term feasibility. So this work is ongoing, and we believe in about 3 to 5 years, we should actually identify whether there's a petroleum system, where exactly the petroleum system is, and exactly how we're going to demarcate or compartmentalize this basin to then attract investors to come and spend money to actually do the major exploration work.
The current stalemate between WAPCO and Ghana is also affecting the smooth process of the intended reserve flow of gas from Atuabo to Tema.
The only problem that has arisen is the fact that the WAPCO, who is supposed to do the second segment of the project, it's a two components. The Ghana gas pipeline being tied in, and then the WAPCO also being tied in. Now, because of the challenges that we're having with the WAPCO, I think they are not ready now to go to do their part. So we have decided, Ghana Gas, to do both at our cost. And we are meeting with WAPCO to discuss and see how this can be done as quickly as we can.
The minister added that the recent re-inauguration of the Bolga Petroleum Depot shows BOST's commitment to ensure constant supply of strategic petroleum stock for Ghana and its neighboring countries.
A director at the National Development Planning Commission, NDPC, Dr. Isaac Mensah Bonsu, says a participatory approach to the decision-making process will help rapid growth and steady development. He says this is one of the key reasons for the introduction of a regional consultative forum for all to make inputs in Ghana's long-term sustainable development plan. Dr. Mensah Bonsu was speaking at the Bunahafo session of Ghana's Long-Term Development Plan and the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority Master Plan.
For 3 days, the National Development Planning Commission created a platform for key stakeholders from all the sectors to make an input into 2 important national documents. They include members of parliament, municipal and district chief executives, and representatives of various identifiable groups in the region. Also, school children, farmers, persons living with disability, and the political parties were at the forum. The opening session saw representatives of the various organizations airing their views on the 40-year development plan. Presenting a brief on the preparation of the development plan, a director of the NDPC, Dr. Isaac Mensah Bonsu, said the commission hopes to get the plan ready by the end of next year, while 2017 is used to fashion out implementation details such as timelines, the conceptual framework, achievable goals, strategies, among others. The chief executive of SADA, Charles Abugri, said SADA will pick up again when a new team is put in place with a new vision. The Deputy Bunahafo Regional Minister, Justice Samuel Ajay, was hopeful ideas and submissions will help the planning process.
President John Mahama used his recent visit to the Central Region to explain government policies and inspect projects. The Regional House of Chiefs also expressed gratitude to the President for work done so far in the area. Here's a report by Napoleon Atukito.
President Mahama, accompanied by officials, went to the Elmina beach to inspect the cold store government has built for fishermen and fresh fish dealers. The multi-million-dollar cold storage facility would produce iced blocks for fishermen to preserve their catch while still at sea on expedition. When there is a glut, they can also preserve the excess fish in the cold store. The facility is to serve fishing communities in and around of Elmina. The government indicated that a similar facility will be provided along the coastal belt, stretching from the Volta region, Greater Accra, Central, and through to the Western region. The one at Elmina is 98% complete. President John Mahama and his wife, Lodina, met with the chiefs and queen mothers in the region. The traditional rulers congratulated the president for development projects being undertaken in the region.
We appreciate the fact that every district in this region has seen significant developmental projects that is contributing to improvement on the lives of the people.
A 5-year Cocoa Roads program that is in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. And so we selected some of the roads in Central Region. And as I speak, work is ongoing on those roads to put them in a better condition. More of the roads will be done every year until we have sufficiently covered all the roads in the region.
The president explained the energy situation to the chiefs. He said demand for energy has outstripped supply due to an expansion in the economy. He said several initiatives are ongoing to make Ghana energy sufficient. The president said he will soon return to the central region to inaugurate more projects. Napoleon Atukito reporting.
On Wednesday night at about 11 p.m., part of the Kumasi Central Market was again gutted by fire, affecting 9 stores. Items destroyed included wax prints, sewing machines and assorted sewing threads, which ran into thousands of Ghana cedis. Our Ashanti regional correspondent Thomas Nsoeje said the quick intervention by the National Fire Service and Regional Police Service prevented the fire getting out of control. The police is said to have cordoned off the area to prevent looting. The Kumasi Central Market is one of the busiest markets in the region and has experienced a number of fire outbreaks in recent times. Until recently, when fire breaks out in Dambai in the Karachi East district of the Volta region, fire tenders are moved across the Volta Lake to attend to the situation. Today, it is a different story with the provision of a fire tender to Karachi East district. The district is the beneficiary of a fleet of fire tenders received in the Volta region.
The capital of Karachi East district, being a major market center located along the bank of Oti River, the Dambai market is prone to fire outbreaks. Some time ago, when fire broke out in the Dambai market, a fire tender had to be called from Ketekwachi across a deplorable road network and the River Oti to the Dambai market to save the situation. Now that the district is having its own fire tender based at Dambai, the people of the district are relieved. At the inauguration of the fire tender, the district chief executive of Karachi East, Mr. Peter Rani, was grateful to the government for the gesture. He advised all fire users, especially market women, to handle fire properly in the market. A former CEO of TDC, Mr. Kofi Mensah Dimetia, told GBC24 that the road networks and river transport in the district must be given a second look. He added that the fire tenders in the district are inadequate. He said life will be more comfortable for them if a bridge is constructed over the lake. Residents hope that their challenges will be addressed.
The Marketing and Corporate Affairs divisions of GBC have met at Akonsombo in the Eastern region to share thoughts on how to ensure that the state broadcaster efficiently performs its duties.
For many years, GBC has been the only media outlet operating nationwide, but this has not been without its peculiar problems, both financial and technical. The reintroduction of the TV license fee is now considered as one of the avenues to mitigate some of these problems facing the corporation to remain a true public service broadcaster. This needs proper internal structures, including capacity building for staff. The Marketing Department and Corporate Affairs Departments of GBC organized a forum to strategize on the proper positioning of the state broadcaster to deliver on its mandate. Participants deliberated on client satisfaction, how to build acceptable content for GBC, how to make GBC a loved brand, as well as building on its corporate social responsibilities, among others. Some participants shared their views.
So far, I think it's been good. It is the first one we have had. We all had our fears, but when we came in, the impressions were good. The discussions were very honest. Nobody felt intimidated. Everybody spoke openly. And the good news was that even the cameramen were involved. Everybody, the drivers who brought us, everybody. Once you were part of the team, you were involved in the discussion. So it was a total turn and it was fun.
Workers need to be, refreshed in terms of their daily activities. What they have to do in the office, what they have to do when it comes to dealing with clients. And we learned a lot about what we should be doing with clients, what kind of relationship we should have with them. Even the image of GBC, how we can come together and build a better image for GBC. So today's program has been one of the best. We have come to learn. We are going to put these things across. Management should be able to support us in order to go forward.
Other targets by the Marketing and Corporate Affairs Department are to increase brand awareness to about 70%, increase revenue collection by 10% in 2016, improve staff motivation and better cooperation between Marketing and Corporate Affairs Departments for results-driven sales. A new book, Who Told the Most Incredible Story, is on the shelves. This family book encourages reading and storytelling just as it was in the days of old in the family setting. The author, Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajuman, says listening and reading are fundamental to learning.
Who Told the Most Incredible Story is a narrative of literature, mainly about storytelling and folk tales. It has been theorized to retell the old stories all over again. The book is written to inculcate a sense of pride in children of who they are and a curiosity of who they will become. Who Told the Most Incredible Story is a set of 5 books, each a different series. It has stories like Kwekwananse and The Magic Stone, how chiefs came to possess leopards' skins. Everyone Deserves a Hearing, The Cat and His Changing Allegiances, among others. The book was reviewed by Nana Kwabena Nketia V. Ms. Joyce Ayi launched the book.
I have the pleasure to launch Who Told the Most Incredible Story.
Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajuman is the author of the books.
The free use of the imagination remains one of the leading characteristics of any discipline, but especially of my own discipline, literature. Education is about the quality of thinking. It is about the quality of the imagination. The disciplines come later.
The book comes in the conventional and braille forms. The first set of the series was auctioned and sold at 10,000 Ghana cedis.
The Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana has a new governing council. Its new president, Mr. Kojo Mata, and supporting officers took the oath of office with a pledge to work harder to ensure that the institute stays relevant in the industry in the country.
Marketing has worked hard to develop the institute. Its immediate past president, Mrs. Shola Safo-Dodu, admits that it has been a bumpy ride. Handing over to the new council, Mrs. Shola Safo-Dodu called on the council to make a personal commitment to build on the reputation of the institution and its members. The newly sworn-in president, Mr. Kojo Mata, said one of the areas the institute hopes to take advantage of is the technology sector.
We would like to enhance the areas of governance, research, education, the future of brands, technology, sustainability, among others.
On behalf of the council, Mr. Mata promised together to ensure that the CIMG effectively contributes not only to the industry but also in national issues. Copies of a book on the marketing industry authored by Mrs. Shola Safo-Dodu were sold at the function.
We'll briefly catch our breath and return to continue with the package.
This is the business news brought to you by EcoBank, Hisense and Airtel. My name is Esther Aidu. Good evening. A government delegation led by the Minister for Power, Dr. Kwabena Donkor, has held talks with the authorities of the Nigerian gas company to find an amicable solution to the impending withdrawal of gas supply to Ghana. This was disclosed by the Minister for Petroleum, Mr. Amma Kofi Boah, when he addressed the media on Thursday in Accra.
On Wednesday, the West Africa Gas Pipeline Company and its partners threatened to cut gas supply to the VRA by Friday 16 October 2015 if the Ghana government failed to pay $181 million debt owed the company. This move, according to Ghanaian officials, will have dire consequences for a country which is already going through load shedding. According to the Minister for Petroleum, Mr. Emmanuel Amma Kofi Boah, a government delegation led by the Minister for Power, Dr. Kwabena Donkor, is currently in Nigeria holding talks with the Nigerian government to see how best to deal with the problem.
A high-powered delegation led by the Minister of Power is currently in Nigeria, having discussions on this very important matter. And we are very hopeful that the matter is on his return. get some news on how and a plan in place to resolve the matter. The government has already set up a very important team led by PRC, the ministries involved, and all the sector agencies are involved, with Ghana Gas involvement, to really draw a plan on how we deal with all these issues of indebtedness. These are legacy issues that must be addressed.
He, however, said the government is putting in the needed infrastructure to harness its own gas from the Jubilee fields.
Cabinet has given approval for a reverse flow of gas from Atuabo to the West Africa pipeline system to Tema. As you know, we are bringing the gas to Takoradi, to Aboase. But we believe that we have to extend that gas so that any opportunity for excess gas can be reversed to the Tema enclave, which currently solely rely on gas from Nigeria. And that is what we are talking about. A project implementation team is in place to oversee the execution of this project. A dedicated onshore pipeline from Takoradi to Tema is also being considered. So what I'm saying is that apart from the reverse flow through the West Africa pipeline, we are also considering, for our own security, a dedicated pipeline for transportation of gas from the Aboase enclaves to Tema. And we are looking at the future additional volumes of gas that will be coming.
A survey conducted by Equity Bank of Kenya shows that serving a customer over the counter cost 49 cents, 25 cents through the ATM, 14 cents by mobile money, and 7 cents via internet banking. With these figures, the Chief Information Officer of Fidelity Bank is calling on the banking public to switch to internet banking rather than the use of banking halls. Speaking at the MTN Business Fair, Mr. Tunji Alabi said that this will reduce banking charges to near zero.
Without a doubt, the banking sector and the business environment at large have gone through a marked technological transformation over the last decade. Thanks to technology, business and banking transactions can now be conducted via the internet and on other platforms. The Chief Information Officer of Fidelity Bank believes the future of banking is e-banking. He says e-banking reduces the cost of banking, thereby reducing banking charges.
The only way we can attain zero banking charges today is to be able to provide a seamless service. If we can get the cost of providing banking to near to zero, then the cost of banking services to the customer will be zero. If all our customers were using the electronic channels, not the branches, the cost of providing banking will be as close to zero as possible. There's a drive within Ghana to move everybody to the electronic channels, not the ATMs this time, the electronic channels.
Mr. Alabi is therefore urging banks and businesses that want quick end-to-end internet services to subscribe to MTN Business Solutions. MTN Business is geared towards providing a one-stop shop for all ICT needs of individuals and corporate entities. Services under MTN Business include vehicle monitoring, MTN Directory, MTN Caller Tunes, and MTN Mobile Money. The key account manager of MTN Business, Michael Gatti, emphasized the essence of MTN Business.
If you are sitting behind your PC and waiting hours, minutes for your mails to download, I don't think that's what any of us will be looking at. So if you want dedicated internet for your telecommuting, for your communication, for your surveillance, for your research, for you to connect so that you would share enterprise resources, I give you my word that your best bet is MTN Business.
MTN is urging the corporate world to focus on their core operations while MTN Business handles the internet aspect of their businesses.
Total Petroleum Ghana has introduced a new range of solar lamps known as Awango onto the Ghanaian market. The company says this is necessary in the face of the current power rationing. Total Petroleum Ghana's Managing Director, Olivier Van Paris, launched the lamps in Accra.
Many businesses are really under pressure with the current power rationing, with some downsizing their staff strength. And to ensure that electricity consumers are not left in the dark, Total Petroleum Ghana has launched a new type of solar lamp known as Awango. There are 4 types of solar lamps under Awango. These include Niwa Uno 50, Niwa Multi 100 Plus, Sundaya U-Light 1 Kit, and Sundaya T-Light. The managing director of Total Petroleum Ghana, Oliver Van Pers, says these solar lamps will be a lifesaver for the consumer.
As a major player in the production, refining and distribution of energy products all over the world, we recognize the importance of energy in creating dynamic progress. In this regard, we have set ourselves 2 major targets for the future: to enable everyone to have access to energy and to make the best use of energy. The launch of Awango by Total thus responds to challenges facing the world over: access to energy for all and development of renewable energy.
The sales and marketing manager of Total Petroleum Ghana, Mrs. Ade Soya Adewale, explained more about the solar lamps.
So we're very proud to be able to select these 4 beautiful products to introduce to the Ghanaian market. The Niwa Uno 50 is an all-in-one affordable solar lamp. Now the Niwa 100 is a high brightness solar LED light. It has a solar lantern and 1 solar panel as well. For the Sundaya, we have 2 ranges. This Sundaya is called the Sundaya U-Light Kit 1. It's a personal energy in your hand. The last product is the Sundaya T-Light 1 Light Kit. This has been fondly called the T-Light. Though it's bigger than the U-Light, it is light and also very handy. And you can hang it like a chandelier in your house.
The Chief Director of the Ministry of Energy, Professor Thomas Imba Akabza, said launching the solar energy lamp is timely.
Without access to energy, development is stifled. It is in this regard that the government has supported various initiatives in the provision of energy to the majority of the population in Ghana.
Ghana is the 30th country on the growing list of countries with Awango by Total Ghana. Most of these countries are in the sub-Saharan Africa and Asia.
Welcome back. Some health news now brought to you by FBAC. FBAC blows away your pain. Raise a Hand for Hygiene is the theme declared by the United Nations for this year's Global Hand Washing Day. And PZ Cousins has marked the day with millions of people around the world by creating awareness on the role of hand washing by all, especially among basic school pupils.
Wash our hands. We wipe it and we use our hands to eat.
Wet hands with clean running water. Apply a small amount of soap, rub your palms together, rub your fingers and thumbs and bits in between, rub your nails on your palms, rub the back of each hand, rinse with clean running water and dry with a clean towel. These 8 steps recommended by health experts to perfect your hand washing were taught pupils of St. Teresa's School as PZ Cousins marked the Global Hand Washing Day in the school and other basic schools across the country. The Caris Global Hand Washing Day saw pupils demonstrating proper hand washing with Caris antibacterial soap and sandwich making contests under the Caris tag, which is clean, care, protect and healthy.
The Hand Self Hygiene program basically is to actually articulate in the individual schools the mandate that the Global Hand Washing Day stands for. So when we come to your school, we actually are able to interact with you better and explain the reasons why we need to wash our hands and teach you the proper way of washing our hands.
In an interview with GBC24, the head of brand development and activation at PZ Cousins, Hafsa Mantha Arthur, said good hand hygiene can significantly reduce the spread of harmful bacteria and other germs that can lead to diarrhea and other harmful infections. Therefore, the need for PZ Cousins to embark on schools' Hands Up for Hygiene campaign in basic schools.
It is easier to start off with children, and so the idea is that we'll get into it at a very early age, engage them. As you've seen, we've had very creative activities right now and thereby make it a part of them. By so doing, we also hope that we will be able to bring the attention of government and policy makers and people in authority to put in place the relevant structures to enhance or to facilitate hand washing.
PZ Cousins School's Hands Up for Hygiene campaign is a call to ensure that hands are lifted above germs and dirt in the environment by always keeping our hands clean.
A nurse who contracted Ebola while working in West Africa is now critically ill with complications arising from the infection. Ms. Kafaki, 39, contracted Ebola while working at a treatment center in Sierra Leone last year. She spent almost a month in isolation at the Royal Free at the beginning of the year after the virus was detected when she arrived back in the UK. She was later discharged after apparently making a full recovery, but it was later discovered last week that Ebola was still present in her body. The health segment is brought to you by FPAC, blows your pain away.
Also in this package, Benin's former President Matthew Kirikou, the man hailed as helping to usher in multi-party democracy in Africa, has died at the age of 82. Mr. Kirikou had 2 spells as president, totaling nearly 30 years, first coming to power as the head of a Marxist regime in 1972. But he accepted the idea of multi-party democracy and stepped down after losing in a multi-party poll in 1991. His willingness to relinquish power was seen as an example for the continent. Mr. Kirikou abandoned Benin's official ideology in December 1989, in part in reaction to the changing situation in global politics following the fall of the Berlin Wall. He was also under pressure because of the difficult economic situation and faced a series of protests. He returned to power in 1996 after beating Mr. Soglo in a democratic election and then won a second and final 5-year term in office in 2001. Current President Thomas Yayi Boni described the former president as a great man and declared a week of official mourning. We'll take you into the sporting arena next.
News: the government, through the Ghana Hockey Association, has fulfilled a promise made in 2010 to the gallant under-17 female team for winning bronze in South Africa. Each member of the playing team received an undisclosed amount of cash from the 130,000 Ghana cedis invested on their behalf in 2010.
These are the members of the national under-17 male and female hockey teams, the Junior Black Sticks, that represented Ghana at an African Championship qualifiers for the World Youth Hockey Olympics held in Singapore in August 2010. The male team picked the sole ticket to the maiden Youth Hockey Olympics after they beat host country South Africa by 3-1, whilst the ladies worked their Zimbabwean counterparts. An educational investment with seed money of 130,000 Ghana cedis was set aside. At a short ceremony in Accra, members of the playing body were presented with checks after the money had matured. The president of the Ghana Hockey Association is Mr. Richard Akbukavi.
I'd like to congratulate you for all that you've done and achieved this far. Remember that it's only you are only the beginning of your career. There's a lot more you can offer to Ghana Hockey, and we will be hoping that you would achieve the highest you can as far as your careers are concerned.
Captains of both teams were ecstatic.
I plan on investing somewhere so that when it's time for me to further my education, I can use it.
After completing school, I wanted to do a lot of things, but there's no finance. So as I've gotten this, I believe it will help me a lot to set up one or two business.
For the players, the timing was right as it has cleared all doubts they had.
South African Olympic athlete Oscar Pistorius, jailed for killing his girlfriend, is to be released from prison to house arrest on Tuesday. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison in 2014 after being found guilty of culpable homicide or manslaughter. He shot Riva Steenkamp through a locked bathroom door, but said he thought she was an intruder. The prosecution has appealed against the verdict, saying he should instead be convicted of murder. Some entertainment news is next.
Hello, good evening. Time for entertainment news. My name is Valerie Danso. Hip life artist Flo Kingston has started his Michichia tour. Flo King shared his thoughts about the current state of the music industry and threw more light on his tour.
I feel the industry is still not giving a lot of people the chance. I feel the industry loves putting light on only a few people at a time, like 2 or 3 people have to be the most talked about people, as if the rest are not that talented, you know? I feel the industry is about time we also allow other people to shine. We have a lot of other very great artists. It's not only the same people playing the same shows, same people getting airplays back to back. No, we have too many other talents around. We should be looking for, especially around Accra. You know, we should be looking for people in Tamale. We have a lot of talented artists in Tamale. Why are we not putting light on the guy from Volta, the guy who lived and grew up in Volta? Does it only have to be the few 5 that we all know that we always play their songs? What's that? You know, I feel that thing must stop.
What is happening with Michichia?
Yeah, Michichia is large right now.
How far are you taking Michichia?
Yeah, you see, like I said, I did it for the fans. So when the song became a phenomenon or is everywhere, I just decided to make a tour out of it. Since I'm about to drop my new album called The Gifted Album, I was like, okay, why don't I take the album to the people? Mostly we do albums and we launch it only in Accra or Kumasi. But this time I wanted to take it to the people I made the song for. So the whole Ghana first, then we do Europe, then we do US. But we're doing Ghana now, a nationwide tour where you drew out true fans, you know. They are from me in Asia, baby. They are G and name of my bonny album, the Swatchemo. Namene Kunta. Yeah, bought a old song, simple, no money, any Muazi. Now for other artists, Kikahon, it is a kaboom, ne strong man, Nero X, no ne. A lot of other Chame Kwame, you know, like we all meet, we have fun, we get a taste of the album. That's all Michichia tour is about. It's just this weekend. We are playing Dunkwa on Friday, coming Friday. Dunkwa at the BOT. That's the 16th of this month. Then the following day, we are playing Obuasi. Obuasi at Champion McLean. A very big concert in Obuasi in Dunkwa. That's the first places. We are doing it this weekend. Then the other ones we'll be doing Sunyane. We are doing Kumasi 5th December at Vienna. Vienna. And a lot of other places. We are doing a major one in Accra, but we haven't set the date yet. Yeah, so right now let's concentrate on the Dunkwa and Obuasi this weekend and let's kill it.
Sometimes it is difficult to understand people in authority, your village chief, your boss, your assemblyman, or even your commander-in-chief. We would like you to watch these videos. We couldn't make head or tail of it, but perhaps if you strain, you make some meaning of it.
Still starting the concept used by the Northern Ireland in its fight against fundamentalism, which states that it is better to the Kais with cans. That's the quote. It is better for the Kais with the cans to be outnumbered by the good guys with the cans.
The
presidential invasion of the National Assembly, which was unscrupulously executed by its pursuant Inspector General of Police, was a dance macabre, which is very, very bad and maladrously so for an already hemorrhaging democracy. I don't want to believe that the Inspector General of Police would engage in that arum-scarum act of political gambadoism without presidential imprimatur.
You can see that the bright is very future.
That's it for this segment. Have a good evening.